Good evening, everyone. How is everybody doing?
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Happy Friday.
Good. Happy Friday, everyone.
We're fine, doctor. Happy Friday.
Doctor.
Happy Friday, Dr.
Friday.
Good, Dr. Edu. Freddy from San Antonio.
All right. Appreciate everybody's time. We are going to be starting time now. And for tonight's topic, we still have our panel. I think we probably have almost everyone. So I saw Frank, I saw Isaac come in, Ifioma and Bettina and Joel. I've not seen them come in. So if they are on here, if you can kindly let me know if you're on here. But we are going to start. And I've seen Ifioma, so I think I'm yet to see Bettina. But I think Bettina is probably in the audience. All right. So tonight we will continue our discussion from last week, but looking at it from a different twist. And in the cybersecurity space, there are two main set of skills that are needed. Most often we focus on one and neglect the other, but the other one is what is always going to get you on the job. That is what is going to either let you get the job or not get the job, right? So it's a very important set of skills that we are going to be looking at tonight. So as we are going through, if you have any questions, you can kindly raise your virtual hand. You can put it in the chat. And if you have any contribution, you can equally do so as well. So I appreciate everybody's time, and we are starting time now. So welcome everyone once again. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, and we do this to help the community out. We do this to learn ourselves as security professionals and aspiring security professionals, or now even AI governance professionals, because we do a lot of AI topics as well. And I'm Dr. Emmanuel Adu. I will be your co-pilot, co-pilot, because I have panel members that are going to be helping me with this discussion. And this is brought to you by Eretmis Academy. And myself, I'm the CEO of Eretmis Inc. We are a cybersecurity consulting firm based out of New York, and then also the founder of Eretmis Academy. And Eretmis Academy is the institution that is bringing you this. Former United States Army captain, former professor at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC, and many others. So Eretmis, we are partners with CompTIA. We are CompTIA authorized partners. And what that means is that we have a 30% discount on all CompTIA vouchers. So if you are looking to sit for any CompTIA certification, you can reach out and we will show you how you'll be able to get a 20% discount. And then also, if you've sat for any CompTIA certification in the past or any other certifications in the past, you always have to renew every 3 years. So you can renew by either resitting for the exam, or you will use, or you show that you've continuously been learning during the course of the 3 years. So being here tonight, every 45 minutes or 30 minutes counts as one point for your continuous education. So you can put team hashtag team live in the chat and put today's date and take a screenshot of that. You can use that as proof that you were here today participating in the learning process. And we are on WhatsApp as well. So the cyber chat group is on WhatsApp. You can join our WhatsApp group as well. So tonight's discussion, we will look briefly at a very interesting cyber news, and then we will jump into the discussion that is the most, I'll say, not the most valuable, but equally valuable skills that employers are looking for. But most career switchers and even folks who are already in the cybersecurity space, we tend to underestimate it, right? But this is actually the skills that is going to make or break you if you have to look for a new role or if you're a career switcher, right? And this skill is also going to let you know that you are not totally starting from scratch if you are trying to break into cybersecurity, right? So with that, we are going to run through some of our upcoming courses. On the 29th of this month, we will be starting our new GRC hands-on workshop and internship. So this is where you get to work on real-world GRC projects and cybersecurity projects for two of our sister companies. You work on at least 8 to 10 major projects, and it is what really bridges the gap between theory and doing. So if you have some degree, some training, cybersecurity training, or you're almost giving up because you're doing interviews and you don't know what is going on, you cannot scale it. We encourage you to look into this. And then also our AI governance is coming up on September 15th. The next cloud security program is coming up on the 30th of September, and our payment security program is also coming up on the 23rd, and our entry level on the 16th as well. So on cyber news, very interesting news this week. For cyber news, there was, so on the 12th, which was this week, the White House came up with a program. Well, there is a memo that is directing a federal program, and I'm just going to go through this exactly as it is on the screen. So on August 12th, White House issued a memo directing federal program through which vetted United States companies may conduct cyber surveillance and cyber effort operations against foreign cyber-enabled transnational criminal organizations. So simply put, criminal organizations or APTs, right, that will be attacking companies in the United States and trying to attack the United States government. Now, these are APTs that are sponsored, government sponsored. So, government sponsored in quotes, right? So foreign attackers or foreign hackers who've been sponsored by different foreign organizations or foreign governments to attack the United States. United States is also coming up with a program where US companies will be given the permission, but they have to be vetted first. They'll be given the permission to also hack these companies and probably the countries that are sponsoring them, right? So whereas this is not a general permission for companies to hack back if you've been hacked, or even if not, to retaliate as you may look at it. But the operations for the companies that will be allowed to do this will be contractually approved, coordinated and approved. And it has to be in writing, and it has to be supervised by government agencies like the DOJ and the Department of Homeland Security, right? So, and you have to be implementing procedures that must be established within 60 days and may require participating companies to maintain at least $1 million bond or an escrow. So companies who want to do this is not it's not free. You have to at least pay some money, or hold some money, at least $1 million. So this just came up. So all the much more details are going to come up later on. But this is very interesting news for everybody in the cybersecurity or information security space. Now, in terms of the GRC significance, it means that companies who will be participating in this or supporting this program, they will have to have very strong controls themselves in place around authorization, around targeting, evidence preservation, legal review, operational deconfliction, subcontracting, incident escalation, stop work procedures, and others, right? Because if you are going after somebody that you think have done something to you, they might also retaliate, and it's going to be a back and forth. So you have to make sure you are strong enough and you have everything right, almost everything right when it comes to security, for you to be able to be doing this or embarking on this adventure, right? So organizations that are also sharing threat intelligence or might be sharing this with the government, there has to be some contractual permissions and stuff also in place. So these are some of the GRC implications and significance about this whole entire program, but we yet to know much more about the program when they actually roll it out, how it is going to play out, and which companies might want to embark on this adventure. So on that note, before we jump into our discussion, we will run through our programs real quick. So for anybody trying to break into the cybersecurity space, the best course for you that is going to give you a very strong foundation, and then also show you how to do projects and have you do projects is our cybersecurity entry level course. Is 4.5 months. First 2 months will be your foundation, takes you through all the major areas of cybersecurity. The second 2.5 months, you are going to work on actual projects. And that is where you build your cybersecurity experience that employers are looking for, right? And then we help you with resume and interview prep and all that as well. And for our GRC workshop and internship, for anyone, if you've done some training in the past, you have a degree in cybersecurity, a master's in cybersecurity, but you know you cannot do the job when they give you the job, right? And don't don't let people kid you and for them to tell you they're going to train you on the job when nobody's going to train you on the job. They are going to orient you on what they do, train you on some tools, but they are not really going to train you on what you were hired to do, right? And this is where you come to learn what you are going to be hired to do, because you are going to be doing these projects for real world companies in real time, and we show you, we teach you how to do the project, and you actually do the project. So you are going to learn by doing, right? So if you've never done any project in cybersecurity, and by projects, I don't mean, some people think if you have a lab, you set up a lab and you are just working with tools and doing some scans, and that is not the actual job, right? Most especially if you want to go into GRC, right? So GRC, they are going to be asking you, what is your experience conducting risk assessment? What is your experience maybe conducting an audit? What is your experience in third-party risk management, right? And stuff like that. So, and those you cannot tell them, I use a tool, I use ServiceNow to do risk assessment, really. And then, okay, we are not using ServiceNow here. How are you going to do the risk assessment? So stuff like that, this is just to give you some ideas about what really is out there, what employers are looking for if you are looking to break into the industry, but you've taken some training, you have a degree, you have some certifications, and you think maybe you are good enough, you can find it. I mean, even if you find a job, you are still going to run away and leave the job because you can't do it, right? And our cloud security, for folks who are already in the IT space, looking to get into a niche in the security space, cloud security is the niche for you. If also you are a career switcher, you've taken some training, for example, you've gone through our GRC workshop and internship, so you really have the hands-on, you can do the job. Then you also have to add cloud security to your portfolio, because all companies have some assets in the cloud, and you have to know how to also protect your assets in the cloud. And this is also very hands-on. You're going to do a lot of hands-on as well in AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud as well. And then our AI governance, this is for everybody, whether you are new to cybersecurity or you are, new to IT. This is an area that you can jump in if you're looking to switch careers and you're contemplating between cybersecurity and what else. AI governance is the next best option, because every company is using AI now. They need to be able to manage and govern how they use AI, right? And for folks who are already in GRC, how we do things in GRC to help protect our assets, we cannot use the same exact thing to, the same exact skills and techniques to manage our AI assets. So you need to have this also in your toolbox, right? So we encourage you to look into our AI governance program as well, whether you're a career switcher, you're already in cybersecurity, or you are trying to transition into IT, right? This is a very good space for you. It's also very hands-on. All our programs are very hands-on. We take you through a foundational training in AI, and then we move you into the hands-on portion where you're going to be working on a lot of AI governance projects, right? And then our payment security, this is for anyone who is looking to create a niche for themselves in the cybersecurity space. This is arguably the most lucrative niche in the cybersecurity space. And I can tell you that on authority and for a fact, because Eretmis is a PCI QSA company. So we work in this space. We work in this space. We do audits, PCI assessments. So if I tell you it's arguably the most lucrative niche, I think I know what I'm talking about. So if you are looking to, you're already in cybersecurity, or you have some really solid foundation in cybersecurity, like you've taken, our entry-level course, and you're waiting for the next, course to jump on, this is going to be a really good option, because for all our students, for our top earning students working in different companies, they also added the payment security, or some who had cybersecurity background already, they just went straight into the payment security, and they are making in the tunes of 200K and above, right? So yes, there's a lot of good money to be made in cybersecurity, but then when you look into the different niches, this is one of the niche that cuts across all industries, cuts across boundaries and countries, continents, because regardless wherever you are located in the world, if your company accepts credit card, debit card, you process, transmit, or store it, you have to stay in compliance with PCI. It doesn't matter whether you're in the United States, you are in London, it doesn't matter, right? Whether you're a government agency or not. So this is the only framework that cuts across, all nations, all agencies, or industries, right? So this is also a niche in the security space that you can look into. And our cyber chat group, our cyber chat WhatsApp group is going to be posted. So with this, I think we are going to jump into our discussion for tonight. So I'm going to have our guests who were gracious enough to give us some of their time last Friday to introduce themselves, and then we will jump into our discussion. But once they introduce themselves, I'll give you a little background into our discussion for tonight and why this is a very interesting and important topic in the cybersecurity space, right? So like we did last week, if Bettina is here, we will start with Bettina, and then we go to Ifeoma, and then we go to Frank. We go to Isaac and Joel, if Joel is also here. So our panel members, if you are here, you can kindly introduce yourselves for us. So if Bettina is not around, and Ifeoma, you can kindly go ahead.
Okay, yeah. Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So I am Ifeoma Isiduba, and I am an information security compliance analyst at the third largest apparel retail brand in the world. I work in New York, and I was at the internship November 2024. I graduated March 2025, and I got my job in October 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifeoma.
Yeah.
We'll go to Frank,
Yes.
then we'll go to Isaac.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Osei, and I'm currently the program manager for PCI DSS compliance with an oil and gas company, and also a PCI DSS consultant for a federal government agency. And I was once a student of Eretmis. Thanks.
Thank you, Frank. And then we'll go to Isaac.
So I'm Isaac Boateng, working in a financial institution. Been there 8 months. I work as a third-party risk management cyber team. I was in Eretmis a year ago, and I already landed my first job. Thank you.
Thank you. And is Joel on here? Joel, if you're on here, I'm unable to see you on the first screen. So if you can kindly introduce yourself. If not, then we are going to jump into our discussion for tonight. So in cybersecurity or information security, just like most other industries, employers are looking for a combination of your technical skills and your non-technical skills, right? And especially in the GRC side of cybersecurity, technical and non-technical is sometimes even non-technical skills kind of takes about 60% of what they are looking for. And, technical will take 40%. And what I mean by technical is not coding, what we would traditionally call technical, right? Because in the defensive side of cybersecurity, you don't need to know or you don't need to do coding or none of that, right? But what I mean by technical is, knowing the concepts and some of the, strategies and how we do things. They are technical if you are not in the cybersecurity space, right? It's not knowledge that is commonly known to everybody. So just like in any other industry, we have technical industry jargons, technical industry knowledge and skill, and then we have non-technical, right? So in cybersecurity, something as simple as if I ask you what is defense in depth or the principle of least privilege. It's just a concept that is technical. If you're not in cybersecurity, you wouldn't know, right? And you wouldn't be able to even, tell me how you implement that in your organization. So that is what I mean by technical. Now, the non-technical part of non-technical skills they are looking for includes, how do you handle conflicts? Your project management skills. How do you handle a project? How do you sell ideas to your superior? How do you lead? How do you manage? How do you influence people? Your interpersonal skills. So all that. How do you communicate? All those are non-technical skills that employers are equally looking for, right? So mostly, let's do this mini experiment before we move into what we are going to be discussing. That way, at least anybody here who is like, yeah, but Dr. Edu, they are just looking for, what you can do, and you have to know your CIA triad, and yeah, all that is good. But let's just don't take my word for it. So if and I'm going to share my screen here shortly. If you look at any job description, right? So we're just gonna go to Google and see what employees are looking for. So let's say we just put in GRC analyst jobs, right? I just put in GRC.
I don't see your screen though.
I'm gonna share my screen here shortly. I'm typing it in here, so I mean when I bring it up, everybody will see. So GRC jobs. So GRC jobs will be simple, right? Okay. So now let me share my screen. So at least we are going to have a better understanding of what. So this is Google, right? I just typed in GRC jobs, and I'm just going to pick any of these jobs as an example, right? So when you look at the job description, right, you come here, you see qualifications. So this is founding security operations and GRC lead, right? So you see the qualifications that they've listed on here. And even in the qualifications, you see 7 years of experience supporting security programs, strong knowledge of security monitoring. So all these we will say these are your technical, right? Hands-on experience with AWS and others, familiarity with SIM tools. And then you come down here, you see strong communication, organization, stakeholder management skills, right? And then remote work flexibility. Okay, so those are now I want where we'll be able to see more of. Okay, so I think this job description is pretty short, right? So at least this is your first glimpse of what you're looking for in terms of non-technical. Now let's look at this other one, and these are just random jobs. GRC compliance lead for AI security. For this also, this is pretty short for a good example. So we're not going to deal with this one. Let's move on to mostly, okay, let me go up here and look for jobs. Yes, this will give you us a better list. So cybersecurity GRC specialist. This might be a good example, right? So you go through qualifications. So bachelor's, 7 years, experience supporting audits, and strong documentation, analytical, and you have stakeholder coordination skill. Now, I'm not sure if this is the first one. This wasn't the first one that we looked at, right? Responsibilities. You are going to partner with regulated organizations seeking GRC specialists. This role focuses on helping organizations meet. So even if you read the responsibilities, you see that what you are going to do will require you to work with other teams to coordinate with different sectors within your organization and different teams within your organization. You are going to be working with stakeholders. You are going to be working with some management groups, right? And if you are in a consulting firm, you are going to be working with different clients. So your client relationship, all those are skills that are really needed here. They are not just looking at your technical skills. So this reinforces what I'm saying. It's not just me making stuff up. If you look at another example on here, GRC manager, right? So mostly managerial roles will have even more non-technical skills. So if you go through here, aside the years experience in assets management and third party experience working working cross-functionally with technical and non-technical stakeholders. So this is soft skill, right? It's not technical. Excellent organizational documentation, communication skills with attention to detail. So it will surprise you, even attention to detail is a key skill they are looking for. Ability to thrive in a fast-paced, high-growth startup environment. This is a soft skill, right? Experience with cloud compliance. This is technical, right? Hands-on experience with GRC tools. This is technical. Understanding of AI, ML. This is technical. Previous experience building and scaling compliance programs. So although we are talking about building and scaling compliance programs, but this is technical and non-technical, right? And then relevant certification. So certifications, I mean, obviously. So I think the point is well made. So if we look at our last example, let's look at the GRC specialist, right? So for GRC specialist, what are they looking for? Now this starts with the benefits. So let's jump into your responsibilities. And okay, the full. So this one is a bit out of order, so it's almost all over the place. So it'll take too much time going through that. Let's look at this one. So this is GRC lead. And for GRC lead responsibilities, looking at all of it, it comes all the way down here to, I was just going for, okay, so even for what we are looking for. So aside the years, working knowledge of AI governance, continuous assessment, monitoring, ability to read code, I mean, experience running enterprise, okay, clear, precise writing. You produce policies and risk narratives read by lawyers. You will use AI tools on daily basis. Okay, and what's in it for you? Okay, so I think the point is well made, right? We've seen that employers are not just looking for technical skills. And then also for everybody on here, if you've been through the cycle of cybersecurity interviews, if you apply to a job and you've gone through a series of interviews, you will quickly realize that non-technical skills, they have their own interview, like one day for non-technical skills, another day for technical skills, and then your other interviews are going to be a mixture of technical, non-technical, or maybe leadership, managerial, right? So this goes to show you that when we talk about your years of experience, it's a combination of technical and non-technical. And I think we spoke about that last week. So don't think, well, it's just people will just focus on using these to, working on projects. And that is why for our GRC workshop and internship, we could have made the interns work on the projects by themselves. But no, we make them work in a group. So when you do that, you are building your non-technical skills because you are dealing with different people from different backgrounds. You are just thrown together, within a week, you have to work together and come up with, different and projects that you are working on. Realistically, some will take you 3 months, but you are working on them we have 2 weeks to work on them, right? So all those dynamics will help with your interpersonal skills, which will help you with your leadership, managerial skills, project management, right? So within that 3 months that you are with us, at least we are going to polish you up on your non-technical skills, right? So although you came in to learn technical skills, but we also throw non-technical skills in there, and mostly when people come up to me and say, Dr. Edu, I don't like my group, this person is doing that. My question to them is, if you had a job and you're getting paid 180K a year, will you quit because you don't like your boss or you don't like somebody on your GRC team? And the answer is always like, oh, okay, I get it now. Right. So you have to learn to work and deal with people, because you are always going to run into people. You are always going to be dealing with people. So that is where non-technical skills come in. So now we are going to go back to our panel members and pick their brain on how they are implementing non-technical skills on the job, and what are some of the key non-technical skills that they really rely on to thrive in their roles. And then also during their interviews, how was their non-technical interviews like, right? So we are going to start with Ifeoma. She's going to walk us through just briefly how many interviews she went. I think last week she said 6. Out of the 6, how many were non-technical? And then she can maybe give us 1 or 2 or 3 questions, that she encountered during the non-technical interviews and how she went about it, right? And then also who did her non-technical. I mean, this is like 3 questions in one. Who was interviewing you for your non-technical? Was it your GRC manager or right? So if you can take the floor, just walk us through the interviews that you did before you landed your role. How many of that was non-technical? You did 6, about 6. And for the non-technical, how did you go about it? What were some of the questions they asked, and what exactly are they looking for during the non-technical interviews?
All right, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, so I actually had about 6 interviews. So first with the HR manager, and then with my hiring manager, which was supposed to be my manager at work. And then I had interviews. The other 4 interviews were with, high-level executive officers, 2 in the US and then 2 in Japan, which is the headquarters of my company. So the soft skills that were really sought after, number 1 was teamwork. So the hiring manager who interviewed me wanted to know if I had worked with teams. He wanted me to take him through my experience working with teams in the past and what I had gained from the teamwork. So that was one question that I took time to explain, and then that was the hiring manager level. And I think my answer, of course, was, I explained how I worked with people, how we solved problems together. And at that time, I had actually, I had some scenarios which I had used to explain my teamwork, which I had prepared, ahead of the interview. One of the advices that you're going to get from the program is to learn how to use scenarios when you're answering questions. You have to use examples. So that was that. And then at the executive level, my interview with the CFO, COO, those ones, they really wanted to know whether I was a customer of the brand, because this is a retail company. They have customers that use their products. And, like I said, Dr. Edu was really very supportive during the interview process. And he advised me, these top executives, they don't know GRC. They are not interviewing you to know your GRC skills. They want to know how loyal you're going to be to the company. So you need to talk about the company as though you've been there for 10 years. So I had to research the company. I had to understand the company, at least as an outsider, and also understand the products. So I was able to speak like a customer. And that was something that actually, I think that was one of the big reasons I was selected, because the other person they were considering didn't know about the company's products, but I could talk about the company's products and where the stores were located around where I live. So that was a big one. That may not be soft skills, but that's something I think I should just throw in. And then at the Japanese level, they really wanted to know how good of a collaborator I was, because they were really interested in collaboration. How well do you work with people? What they wanted to know how I solved problems in the past. Like when I had a difficult problem with people, how did I resolve it? So again, you need to have, you have to prepare yourself to answer questions like this with scenarios. And so Those are the two major questions I encounter. Teamwork and collaboration were the major questions I faced. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifeoma. So we go to Frank. Frank, if you can also jump in and give your take on this. What soft skills questions did you encounter, and who, was in charge of your soft skills interview?
Okay, so I'll take it on two sides. I've had the one-on-one interview experience and also a panel experience on the government side. So I'll try and remember. It's been some years now, so I'll remember if I can get the exact questions. But broadly, based on when it comes to of course there were some technical questions, but then I'll base my answer on the soft skills questions. So it was mostly about handling issues with teammates or team members, how well you fit in the team. And also, like when it got to the executive level, it was more for them, they understand numbers, right? The business impact and stuff. So you have to have like a risk-based thinking approach to that. So you have to understand that not every issue has the same level of importance. So for them, they ask questions around how you prioritize risks, like based on business impact. So there were questions like that, especially when it got to the CISO level, um, like how you prioritize based on business impact, likelihood, and regulatory requirements and organizational objectives, stuff like that. When something happens, the money impact, how the company is going to be affected and stuff like that. So on the panel one that I was on, I think there were three people that were throwing questions at me left and right. And I remember being asked, tell me about a time you failed. This question can make you or break you, because the kind of answer you give will either land you the job or they'll be like, nah, we don't want this guy on our team. So, questions like that, you have to give a good answer. Being asked, tell me about a time you failed. Like failing at something, it could be a big impact on a company, right? So, soft skills, like it was pretty much bordered on how well you relate with people, attention to detail, problem solving skills, and how you collaborate with people. Pretty much it was around those.
Okay. Thank you, Frank. We
Yeah.
go to Isaac. How was your experience like when it came to your non-technical interview?
Yeah, so with my non-technical interview, I think I will start with my last interview, like when they moved me forward, it was with the executive director. And like I said, I was asked only one question. And the question was, how do you explain, let's say you find a gap or you find a risk, how do you explain it to senior management? So now, senior management, not everybody is technical. So that is how they wanted to know how I explain non-technical terms to them. And this was something that we've been doing during our internship at Eretmis, like working in groups. Every weekend we have to meet with Dr. Edu and go over everything, what we work on, the risks we found, and then break it down into pieces for Dr. Edu to understand and how we should resolve it. So honestly, I would say that is one thing that helped me a lot. One of the soft skills. And also I was being asked how do I handle conflict, right? Because, they want to know you are the type that will be ready to fight in an office. They don't want that kind of a behavior at their workplace. So, that was something that I was also able to let them know, okay, I look at the situation and then see if if I was the one who was wrong, I'll make sure that I will approach the other person, resolve it amicably. And if not, if it's something I have to escalate to management and all that. And I think one of these questions during my interview phases, I met with Dr. Edu when he was actually helping me during my interview process. And he did walk me through all this, gave me a lot of
evidences and also a lot of examples. So I was able to speak through it. So I'll say that that's some of them. Is a lot of them. And currently, my role right now with the first part, what I'm doing is always explaining risk in breaking it down into non-technical terms to management, which they really love it. And he actually told me, I was like, what is the biggest challenge here? And he was like, people know their stuff, but when they have to go to the top and then talk about risk, then it becomes something else. Like they cannot break it down. And that was, so when I came in, I think that's something that helped me get the job too, and also something that I've been able to help me to move up over there. Yeah. So that's something I can speak to.
Okay. Thank you, Isaac. So this is now these other questions are Frank, if you can all take your turns on this one. So during the interview process, would you say depending on whoever is interviewing you when it comes to the non-technical, that will kind of influence the kind of questions they ask you, right? If what is your take on that? So if maybe, let's say, the director of cybersecurity or the director of GRC is interviewing you compared to maybe the cybersecurity manager, right? You think that makes any difference when it comes to what type of questions they will ask you for non-technical?
Yes, I think so. So I remember that while I was preparing for my interviews, you gave me an advice and you told me that, look, for each of the interviews you're going to go for, there are different perspectives. There are different things these people are looking for. Your hiring manager is not looking for the same thing that the CFO or the COO or the group officers are looking for. So that helped me really understand that how to prepare for the interview. So I think the hiring manager was really looking for teamwork, collaboration. They wanted somebody that could work with the team, in the region, and that was particularly the focus, of the questions that were asked. So I was going to talk about the STAR method. So before my interview, I took time, and this is something that we were taught at internship, to make sure that we have scenarios that are planned for our answers. So the STAR method is situation, task, action, results. So for some of these soft skills, the way you tackle the issues in the scenarios, it's really going to be a lot of soft skills, working with time, knowing how to solve problems critically, being a problem solver, critical thinker, and all that. So at the hiring level, it was mostly teamwork. So I knew that the hiring manager was looking for someone that could collaborate and work well. So at the group level, that is the highest level at the headquarters, what they were looking for was problem solving. They wanted someone that could, if anything comes up at the global level, you're able to collaborate with stakeholders at a higher level and solve the problems, within the region. So that was really the focus. So definitely they were looking for different things. The ones at the middle, the CFO, CAO, those ones were just thinking about money, money, money. They were thinking about how much money, how are you going to help us make money? Funny enough, cybersecurity is not it's regarded as a cost center, but because of the way their minds were, CFOs are always thinking about profits, so I had to speak their language, I had to make sure I answered my questions in line with how their mind or their expectations. And those ones were really particular about how well do you know our business? If this happens in our business, how are you going to solve it? So a lot of answers I gave had to do with soft skills, timeliness, time management, project management skills, and things like that. So that's my response. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Very insightful, and if you remember last week, Bettina was also talking about, Bettina had to, so now she's a cybersecurity manager, so she's doing interviews to hire new members onto her team. And one thing that she mentioned, I think somebody asked, so what was she exactly looking for in the candidate? And she said she was looking for somebody she can work with. Right. So yes, your technical skills, matters. But then she was looking for, so everybody who will be interviewing with Bettina, who is the cybersecurity manager, she's trying to ask you certain questions to see how you react, how your decision processes, how you analyze stuff. So for her to feel comfortable, like confident that okay, indeed I can work with Ifeoma or I can work with Frank, right? So whoever didn't get a job, they didn't get a job not because technically, I mean, aside technical proficiency, maybe whoever came head to head with the person whom Bettina nominated for the role probably didn't get the job not because of technical competencies, but they didn't get it because they couldn't really deliver on the soft skills or non-technical side, right? And that is what I've sat on different cybersecurity boards, different interview panels. That is what it always comes down. It always comes down to non-technical, right? For the technical, if you don't know the technical, they're not even going to waste their time on you and, and move you forward, right? But the sad thing will be for you to be very technically proficient, but you are very, I wouldn't say naive, but you probably don't know what is going on the non-technical side, right? And they ask you questions and like that, though all those questions are going to hit you like a blow in the face because it just throw you off. Now you have to think of something on the spot and you are going to fail if you have to think on something on the spot during your interview processes. Right. So thank you for that, Ifeoma. Now, Frank, what is your take on this?
Yeah,
Does it
so
matter? Okay,
yeah, it
go ahead.
does. It does a lot, Dr. Do. It does because based on my experience with my direct report, which is the director of cybersecurity, and the CISO, there were complete differences in the interviews I had. And I learned during the interview that my predecessor wasn't that good to work with, like in terms of interpersonal relationship and relating with the group at large. He was difficult to deal with. And my interview with my direct report was not too technical because he didn't know the weeds of the PCI DSS, right? All that he wanted was somebody he could rely on, or somebody you could work with, collaborate with, and achieve great goals to make him look good in front of, his higher ups. So, it was mostly about how I'm going to help him achieve, his goals. And when it got to the CISO level, he was more about how I can, explain complex security risk and compliance requirements in plain language for the executive level, also like communicating effectively with both technical teams and executives. So that CISO level interview was based on how well I align with their business objectives and goals, right? So pretty much that's how different it was.
Okay.
And yeah.
Thank you, Frank. What about you, Isaac?
Doc, I would like you to repeat the question again.
So I was asking, does it really matter who is interviewing you when it comes to the non-technical? So let's say maybe if the director of cybersecurity is interviewing you for non-tech, asking you non-technical questions, and the maybe CISO is interviewing you as compared to maybe the cybersecurity manager, are their questions going to be the same, or what exactly they are looking for in terms of non-technical skills? Is it going to be the same?
That I'll say that their questions are not going to be the same in the sense that when I was interviewing, and most of data interviews I did in the past, when I'm actually meeting with somebody within the team or even from HR for HR will actually just go over things that what they are looking for, right? And what is on your resume and what you say. So you explain that. But when you meet the interview panel itself, I remember one of the panel would just come and be like, "Hey, so I'm just curious. I just want to ask you this question. one of these behavioral questions here, and then he would throw his own question, which focus more around building collabo, communicating, resolving or any risk or those kind of things. But then when you go to the upper part, the big guys, they are asking more about how you represent risk, how do you cut risk, how like your critical thinking, all those kind of things. So I think to me, that is what I would say, that they don't ask the same thing. Everybody have what they are looking for in you to work with you, right? Like you said, Bettina said, she was looking for somebody that she want to be able to work with. So that she have her own soft skills that she's looking for. Now, if it gets to another part, they will have another question for you. And in this space, you work around. It's cross-functional, right? You go around from this team to that team, and everybody is looking for how they can work with you. Because if it makes it harder for them to come with you, then they don't need you. There's no point of working with somebody that you can't work with. Even if you want to get married and the woman you want to marry is not somebody that you can work with, the marriage is not going to last. So yeah, everybody asks different questions, qualities that they're looking for based on the soft skills. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And yes, for all career switches, and even I think there are a lot of other Eretmis family members here working in different cybersecurity roles, and they can attest to this, right? Where you sit in cybersecurity in terms of your role or job title, where you sit determines how you see things, right? So the CISO is not necessarily concerned about whether you can do the risk assessment or you can do this or not do that, right? He's most concerned about at the organizational level, how are you going to represent the organization, right? How well are you going to be able to function in the organizational culture, right? Somebody who is a cybersecurity manager, they are looking for teamwork, how well you'll be able to integrate and work with everybody on the team. How much of a team player are you? How do you handle conflicts? The director of cybersecurity is also going to be looking for different set of soft skills, right? And you have to be able to meet all these people's expectations before they give you the job. Now, that is not to scare you and say this is too difficult for you to do. I mean, Isaac did it. Ifeoma did it. Frank did it. So it's doable. You just have to get the right guidance on, okay, this is how to answer these questions. This is how to go about this. This is how to go about that, right? Because for mostly when we do interview, one-on-one interview prep with, all the Eretmis students, interns, before they go to an interview, all of them can ask you, my very first question, if somebody wants to, jump in, what is the very first question Dr. Edu is going to ask you when you reach out and say, hey, Dr. Edu, I have an interview coming up with this company. Anybody remembers? For $5?
What did they do?
Did you research about the company?
What did they do?
Yep. Right. What do they do? And then that is where you hear people saying, well, I think they sell shoes or cars, or no, I think they are in the food business. They sell. Right. And my next response will be, you don't have to think. You have to know for a fact what they do. Right. Because why would you want to go to an interview and they are like, what do you know about our company? And you're like, I think you sell shoes or cars or you're in the food business. I mean, that will be the end of your interview. You can be the most technically proficient person. That is it. Nobody is even going to entertain you because one, the soft skills they are looking for, attention to detail, you don't have. Because they didn't randomly meet you on the street and ask you, what do you know about our company? You applied to a job they posted. They reached out and they scheduled an interview date with you. So you knew you were going to this interview and you come to the interview and I ask you, what do you know about my company? And you are saying, I think you do this or I think you do that. Like, how does that really make you look? Right. You wouldn't even get the chance of doing any technical or none. That will be the end of your right. And the more you know about the company, the better you'll be able to deliver when it comes to technical and non-technical side of the interview. right? Because if you know more about it, and what I always say is you have to know more about the company than the person who works in the company who is about to interview you, right? You have to literally even know more about the company than the person who founded the company for them to be like, wow, I mean, I couldn't even remember those days exactly, but that gives you like that will give you some really cool points, and they will know that you are a very serious guy or girl or serious man or woman, right? You really pay attention to detail, and everybody will want to work with somebody like that, right? Everybody who is going to interview you, they are looking for somebody who is going to lessen their burden. They want to employ you and wouldn't have to worry about you in terms of, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Can you even do what you're supposed to be doing? Are you fighting with the team or are you working? They want to hire you and have their peace of mind. Right. So just, bear that in mind. So those are based on where they sit in the organization will determine what type of soft skills questions they are going to ask you, because they all have different agendas that they are pushing. Right. So now coming back to, what our panel members are actually implementing in terms of, or utilizing in terms of soft skills. So if you can walk us through when you got on to your team, how has it been? What soft skills are you really utilizing, and how has your soft skills or non-technical skills really helped you to excel in your role?
Okay, thank you. So I would say that the number one soft skill that has really, really helped my work or my job is time management and being able to prioritize tasks, managing deadlines, you know. So when I get to work, one of the things I do that really, because when I joined the company, I noticed that we were getting emails, and sometimes those mails don't get any responses. 2, 3 days have gone, and they're sending reminders. Please, this is a soft reminder regarding our inquiry. ISO, could you please do this? And nobody's answering them. So I realized that there was a lapse in that area. People had to wait for a very long time to get responses. So when I come to the office, the first thing I want to do is go through my emails and my messaging app. So most companies will use Teams or Slack. This for quick messages. Emails is kind of standard. And then I just make sure, that I have gone through the mails, because that sets the tone for the day. You're looking out for messages from, security, the SOC team. You want to know if there's an alert or an incident or an inquiry. So I think what really helped me was time management, knowing how to prioritize tasks, knowing what is more important, what tasks to prioritize, what is urgent and what can wait. That skill really, really helped me. So I would say it's sort of organizational and productivity skill. And it was something that my manager really noticed very quickly. He was like, wow, we've never had this kind of turnover. Like the wait time everybody is noticing that you are, answering emails quickly, unlike before. I mean, our region was known for being very sluggish. And sometimes they'll say, okay, maybe the time zone is a lot, the time difference is a lot from the headquarters, so that's why I know. But when I came in, I proved that the time difference was not the problem. It was just people were not responding to emails and inquiries, and it was affecting a lot of things we're doing. So I would say productivity, time management was one of the soft skills I used. Another one that really worked for me was I knew how to I understood when there was a problem, like maybe, for example, we needed to upgrade there were computers that needed to be upgraded in the region, and we needed to act quickly. I knew who to talk to. I quickly mapped out stakeholders in the region, who is in charge of this, who is in charge. That's a big company. So one of the things you have to do when you come in is to quickly understand who is who does what. Of course, you're going to receive some documents, like the list of PICs and POCs, people in charge, persons in charge of different things. So I knew how to use the messaging app to quickly create collaborative teams, like on Teams. If there's an issue, GHQ is saying, oh, please, we need to do this. These passwords are weak. We need to get these users to change their password. I know how to quickly organize everybody, get the person from infrastructure, somebody from the business team, put them in a team, and then start talking to them. Hello, everyone. I'm from ISO. It's nice to meet you. Please, could we look into this issue? We just received this message, blah, blah, blah. And before you know it, everybody's taking action. And my manager told me that this was something nobody was doing. And I was actually surprised because this is pretty standard, very soft skill based task, but it wasn't being done. And that really elevated my influence in the organization and in the region. And everybody started kind of doing the same thing. My manager said, nobody actually, this thing you're doing, it wasn't being done before. So I was baffled because this is a large organization. And I would like to say that some of you think that when you join a company, the requirements are so high level. They're not. They're really simple things they're expecting you to do. Very simple daily task, just as simple as being, kind, polite, clear communication, clear thinking. Those are the most vital aspects of the work, because the technical skills, you can learn technical things, but your personality, your attributes, your personal attributes, your interpersonal skills, these things are really, really very important. And so a lot of us have these things from previous jobs. So you could really bring them into your future role as a cybersecurity analyst and really hit it, nail it. So those are the skills that really, made me stand out. And everybody in the GHQ was wanting to work with me. Who is this person that just came in? I'd like to meet her. Would like to meet her. She's very passionate. She's, and all that. So, Dr. Edu, that's what I would have contribute to that. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And there's a lot, of bullet points that I got from that. Thank you. What about you, Frank? What non-technical skills has been helping you on the job? And if you can elaborate and give us, some little insight into what you are using in terms of non-technical skills.
So there are a lot, but I'll narrow it to a few. Number one will be communication and also relationship building. You have to build trust with uh, cross-functional teams like IT, security, legal, audit, like all those teams. You have to build trust with them. You have to kind of develop a relationship with them to like that will encourage them to cooperate rather than you don't have to make compliance feels like you are policing them. Often at times when those that I'm engaged with, I don't have direct authority over them. And I need them to work with me to kind of remediate risk and implement controls and meet deadlines. So you have to be willing to negotiate and work with them than to kind of act as if you are policing them. So that was very critical for me, and also critical thinking. You have to look beyond control, like you have to look beyond whether a control technically exists. Ask if the controls actually address risk, if it is effective or what could go wrong. You have to have that risk-based thinking. Understand that not every issue has the same level of importance. So having that mindset and also prioritizing like risks based on business impact, likelihood, and regulatory requirements has really helped me to get things done on the job. And yeah, it's been helpful so far.
Okay. Thank you, Frank. Now, what about you, Isaac? What soft skills have you been using on the job?
One of them will, I'll say, collaborating and also understanding people, right? So when you go to meetings, sometimes people say things that they don't know, right? And if you don't take care, you might be like, oh no, that is wrong. They will get offended with that. And in this space, there is a lot of politics. And I didn't even know. Dr. Du initially told me that wherever you see people being managers and all that is politics. No, so you have to know how to play that politics. So I kept that right here. So that is one thing, right? So you go to meetings or you are doing teamwork, somebody will be saying something that doesn't really uh make sense. I'll say it that way. And at first, I would be like, my friend, you are lying. That's not it. But I learned how to, communicate. I'll be like, oh yeah, I acknowledge that. Then I'll try to correct them in a way where they wouldn't feel bad about what I'm saying. Because if you do that, then next time they will also like to come at you like that. And another thing soft skills I build was, in as much as I know certain things I learned from Eretmis, my department, we only do maybe one of them. We don't do all of that. There are other teams that work on those kind of things. So I try my best to collaborate with them, make sure I help them with anything they're doing, which made me recognize. And that is why I was able to go for this alpha convention that happened recently. So another part is also looking at, the job is there. How do you do your job? This is non-technical, your skills. You have jobs that is critical, high risk jobs, low risk, moderate risk jobs, and then so business impact, regulatory importance, deadline, and dependencies. How do you go about those jobs, right? How do you are you able to meet all those kind of things? So these are my own general knowledge, soft skills I put together to meet my deadline, right? So you can't treat everything equally in this space. So and also when it comes to the teamwork that I was talking about, very important. Sometimes, like I said, you don't know. I don't know the answer to something. I'm not going to just say whatever I think, right? Professionally, I'll just say that I don't know. I'll find out later, right? And then if somebody know, they will help me out with it. So, or so maybe I'll just reach out to somebody. I'm open to just reaching out to people, getting answers, and having things done. That doesn't mean I don't know, because you can know. You will never know everything in this space, right? So I think for me, those are the soft skills that I've developed: communicating, knowing how to answer, when to talk, listening. Some people would just, like, if you have something to say, people already have an answer for you. They'll not take their time to listen to you and know. So what I also learned is taking my time, listening to people, knowing where they're coming from and where they're going before I speak up. I don't just cut them off in meetings. Sometimes people do that. Oh, even during our internship, somebody will have something to say. Before they start talking, somebody will just say what they don't know, and they get offended about that. So I think these are the soft skills that I have gathered, or that have really helped me in this space, and it keeps moving me forward.
Okay, thank you, Isaac. So from what Ifeoma, the insight we got from Ifeoma, Frank, and Isaac, anybody here not working in cybersecurity and feels like, I'm doing the same thing on my job? And anyone? Or this is just special to cybersecurity job? Anybody doing something similar on their job? Same skill sets, time management, task management, attention to detail, productivity, problem solving, knowing your team, and breaking down complex technical stuff into simple terms for non-technical stakeholders, communication, trust, teamwork, cross-functional team work, critical thinking, understanding people, being tactful with people, not trying to necessarily offend people or just to, make people look bad in meetings, right? Anybody using any of these skills in a non-cybersecurity role? Bedimi, please go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I think I work in the lab and I run tests, like patient tests. So I think most of the skills, most of what you guys are talking about, we basically do it. Because with some doctors, like you have to give them some criticals when you like find something with patient results, but you have to bring it to their level because they don't understand they don't use our own like a reference range. You have to come down to their level. so that they can understand. Sometimes when you have a result, you call a nurse, they don't understand what you're saying. You try not to make them feel bad because we work in different, in different sections. We don't do the same thing. So you have to make them understand. You have to calm down and make them understand. And when you even sometimes the people that because in the lab we also have phlebotomists, people that go and draw the blood. Sometimes they don't understand. We work in the same department. They don't understand what we do. We also don't understand what they do. So we had to like, oh yeah, the reason why this blood I cancel it is because of this. The reason why you draw this blood is short and it's gonna affect the result. It's not giving me the accurate result that I wanted. It's because of this. You have to like explain to them. You have to have good communication skills. Especially at first, when I first started, I was like, oh my God, how do I, explain? Sometimes it's unfortunate. We don't have like relationship. We don't really confront, like talk to the patient, but it happens sometimes because they'll make a mistake and call us and want to know what's going on with their test, what's going on, why did you draw this, why, you know, all those things. I feel like these are basic things. These are basic skills, like checking your email. You want to check your email when you get to work. That's one of the first things that you should do. You know, that's what I think. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Patimi. So would you say even before getting into cybersecurity, you have almost all the non-technical skills that is needed already?
I think most of the things are just basic skills, like how to comfort yourself, how to like I learned that like not like what Mr. Frank said about not making someone feel bad. Like because you think you know something. Sometimes you have to like when your higher up are saying stuff, you need to not say anything because you don't want them because they're gonna retaliate. Even your coworkers, when they like, you call something out, they messed up on something. You don't want to confront them. You don't want to be confrontational. That's one of some of the skills that you had to
Yeah,
have working in a cup. Like it's everywhere. I think so.
yeah. So now this, and I'm asking these questions just to put everybody's fear to, put your fears to rest for you to know that, oh, I mean, what they are doing is in terms of non-technical is nothing really special. And mostly is a non-technical, like if Yoma said, for her, yes, they know she's technically proficient, but the non-technical is where most of the people were lacking in a company. That is why for a huge billion-dollar company, emails were going unanswered. The American team were looking bad because they were notorious for not responding to emails. And if Emma could have simply just gone with the status quo, I mean, whoever, it's not me who's supposed to reply. I mean, whoever gets to it, right? But that attention to detail, and for her thinking, I mean, I was doing this in my previous work. So, I mean, this is normal. We should be responding to this. And then also her critical thinking kicking in. Now she's a rock star. And she's a rock star it was the non-technical that put her on the spotlight. Everybody wants to meet her, everybody wants to know her. But then her technical also, now when it comes to the technical side, she's also shining, right? But it was the non-technical that really put her up there for everybody to know. Because for people that you are working with, if they say something in a meeting and you know it is totally wrong, they don't know, like Isaac was saying, but you just don't rub it in their face, but you let them save face, right? You're like, yeah, Anthony, I can understand. I really see it from your point of view, but also we can also look at it this way. Now, Anthony is not stupid. He will quickly realize what you just did. You've saved him, right? You didn't make everybody see that he doesn't know or he's totally wrong. Anthony is going to appreciate that and he's going to pay back in kind. So next time when maybe you are presenting and you also make a mistake or you are saying something, you make a mistake, he's not going to call you out. But the moment you call Anthony out, you let everybody, see that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Anthony is also going to pay you back in kind. And if Anthony has a friend on the team, they are all going to gang up against you. Right. So you can be the most technical person in the world when it comes to cybersecurity. They are going to make sure you fail. So you see how soft skills will make or break you even on the job. So it is, I would say, even more important than your technical skills, right? Because technical skills, like if Yoma said, I can teach you technical skills any day. But if you can't pay attention to detail, you have too much ego, you want to let everybody know they are wrong, you are the only person who is right, I can't change that in 2 months or 3 months, right? So that is why we are doing this, to make you more aware that before you even get into cybersecurity, you have most of the all the because there's non-technical skills, you are bringing it from wherever you are coming from. So that is why I always say nobody is starting from scratch. You are not starting from zero in cybersecurity. So when people are overly concerned about years of experience, but they said they want 10 years of experience, or this 10 years of experience, a combination of technical and non-technical. Right. So Harold, please go ahead, and then we will let Anthony, and then we go back to our panel members.
Thank you very much, Doc. Honestly, I've been humbled by this presentation and hearing from the team. I largely worked in sales from the same company. I didn't change company much. And so I do a lot of outwork, like 90%. Anytime I'm in the office, then it's presentation and reports. So I do a lot of presentations, but I see a lot of these soft skills playing out sometimes unconsciously. But to be honest, if you can't manage relationship, if you can't do most of these things, you hardly will succeed at sales. And what humbled me largely is how a combination of these soft skills played out in my case, because you are doing B2B business, you are managing territories and all of that. To be honest, if your relationship is not top notch, you'll be written off. Number two, if you are not attention to detail or care about people and seek their welfare first before. And for me, working with my team, I tend to be personal with them, seeking their interest more than what the targets and whatever they should deliver. So I normally do not exert too much pressure, but the way I manage relationship with them really triggers their interest, and they tend to deliver what I needed. I was just reading some message from a friend, and he was telling me, I saw a post, one of my team he did a creative on social media and posted it on Fiverr. And I picked it up and I called him and I said, "Hey, engineer," and I was giving him funds. He said, and the response he gave me in terms of messages afterwards, he said, "Boss, you don't know what you deposited into me before leaving." That message alone really humbled me. And for me, I think relationship, prioritizing people, and seeking to their need, and be there for them, and be a little personal, getting under their skin as and when it matters, really triggers delivery. It makes the people work for you more than necessary, more than they're supposed to. So these are a few things I would love to share with the team. Thanks
Thank
very
you, Harold.
much, Doug.
Thank you. And I think Justin and Anthony, you had your hands up. Justin, if you can. Yes, go ahead,
So,
please.
Doc, my question was like, Miss Ifeoma said, she answered send the email and stuff like that. So in case she sent it and they haven't get back to her, does she still have to call them or continue sending email to them?
Okay, then I'll leave that to Ifeoma to answer that.
Okay, so when it comes to emails, so the emails are usually coming from business teams. They are making inquiries about different assessments that they need for their departments, and we usually help out with these assessments and other inquiries. So what I was explaining was that we had a lapse. We had a situation where these inquiries and requests were coming in, and the rate of response was very slow from our team. So when I came in, I noticed it, and I noticed that these people were waiting and waiting for sometimes 2 days. Sometimes they won't even get a response that week. So I took it up to try to go through the emails every day, because sometimes these emails are missed, and then it's like nobody saw the email. So every day I make sure when I get to work, I'm looking through the emails to make sure that we don't miss any inquiries. Even if I don't have an answer for that person, I am telling the person, I have received your email. I'll get back to you shortly. And they really appreciate that. It's better than not giving any response at all. And of course, sometimes there's a need for some back and forth. Like I mentioned, sometimes I don't have the answer to their inquiry. Remember, I just joined the company. I don't know everything. So sometimes just replying and saying, oh, thank you for your email. We received your email. I'd like to let you know that we're looking into this and we'll get back to you shortly. Just that response is a relief. At least they know somebody's checking on that case. It's better than just ghosting them and not answering. Even if you don't know what to do, make sure you always reply. And that's part of your interpersonal skills and empathy, because you have to put yourself in their shoes. If it was you trying to get somebody to help you with something and you're not getting a response, that's very painful. So you have to put yourself in their shoes and make sure that you provide the best response as soon as possible. So yeah, sometimes I have to get back to them. Sometimes there's back and forth email communication until the issue is resolved and the case is closed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifeoma. So now we go back to our analyst. So for Ifeoma, Frank, Isaac, based on your own experience going through, what you've done previously in terms of non-technical skills, going through the Eretmis GRC internship program, the non-technical skills that you gain from there, and then what you are doing on the job now, actually seeing it play out. What would be your advice to anybody looking to break into the cybersecurity space, or even if you're in the cybersecurity space, when it comes to how to polish up on your non-technical skills and how to really, pay attention to non-technical skills, because it can make or break you, and it can make you a rock star in your company as well, especially from Ifeoma's perspective. So Ifeoma, if you can give us some advice on what career switches should look out for, how should they prepare for their soft skills interviews, and what exactly are employers looking for based on your experience now on the job?
Yes. So I would say that the when I actually recently I was given the responsibility to actually manage a program, like an information security program. So I had to build that program from scratch. Like, it has never been done. The policies are there, the framework is there, developed by the GHQ governing team, but it's never been implemented in our region. So I'm actually the first person doing that. So you can imagine the amount of soft, what they call it, analytical thinking. Thank God for AI, because AI, AI has helped me a lot. But the analytical thinking that has gone into that program is quite, sometimes I'm even wondering at myself that, am I really the one doing this? Like, this is amazing what I've been able to build. And I remember during the internship, sometimes my classmates will complain, Dr. Edu should spend more time now. He should explain more. He should, like, they really wanted to get Dr. Edu to do, like, I don't know, like much more, like, maybe, how do I say it? So Dr. Edu will
Feeding.
explain to us that this is like a master's degree program. It's not, so the internship, what it did for me was help my critical thinking skills. All those presentations that we did during the internship, now I am creating PowerPoint slides. I am creating courses. I am teaching targeted training, like at different levels. I have to organize training for top executives, CFOs, COOs. I have to organize for the management level, the managers, directors. I have to, organize for the operational staff. So the ability to do that, and I can tell you, between when I started working and now, I think I've done something like close to maybe 25 presentations or 30 presentations, something like that, because I'm meeting with groups every time and I'm presenting. And this was what we did at the, so anytime we did those presentations, I'm remembering the internship. I'm like, this was what we were doing, Dr. Edu. We're creating, he'll tell us, go and, create your slides and come and do your presentation. And we'll take turns in doing the presentation. And I can look back and say, oh my God, this was what I really needed. So that's one of the benefits from the Eretmis internship. You're going to be grilled by Dr. Edu. He's going to make you, do some serious research, critical thinking. And I can tell you that has really, really helped me. And I see why he made us do those things. Now I'm actually doing the same thing in my company, creating slides, creating decks, from our policies, creating cybersecurity awareness programs for different levels of employees, from top executives down to the operational level. So I would say, please take advantage of the internship. It really, really helped me. I cannot overemphasize that. It helped a lot. And if you're really serious about going into cybersecurity, you want to have hands-on experience. It's so important. It doesn't matter if you have a degree. If you haven't done it, companies are looking for people that have done the deed, that have actually done these things. So I would encourage everyone to take the internship very, very seriously. If you haven't had any introduction to cybersecurity, the entry-level course I would recommend, and then the internship. Thank you.
Thank you, Ifeoma. And Frank,
Yeah, Doctor.
what?
So,
Okay, go ahead.
you want me to go ahead? Okay, so I actually used to think soft skills were inherent, like, but I came to the realization that it can be acquired, right? Based on my experience from I think I had an internship with Eretmis back in 2020 or 2021, I'm not really sure. And there were like 60 of us, and you broke us down into 20, I mean 3 groups of 20. So imagine working with all these people, different time zones, different demographics and stuff, and collaborating with 20 people. It wasn't easy. And knowing me, I'm the shy type. Those who know me personally, I think a couple of people on here. Um, um, for me to be able to be talking on here and presenting, I would say it's God and confidence, right? But it took time, right? You have to believe in yourself. You have to have that confidence. And the internship kind of built me up, because there were times that I couldn't dodge. I was forced to present in front of other peers. And that has really helped me because nowadays I'm the one organizing meetings with top executives like VPs and, with people with all these big, big names in our organization, having to present plans and tactics and stuff like that to them about how to stay in compliance and stuff like that. So you can imagine the benefit of the internship, right? So I would say believe in yourself, have confidence, and most soft skills are transferable from other industries. You could be a nurse, right? You attend to people. You have to know how to speak to patients, to communicate to other employees, and the same thing is on the cybersecurity or the GRC or the technology industry, right? You have to bring those skills in, then the technical aspect comes in to play. For most, I mean, me as a manager, if I have to hire you, right, I don't really care about the tools you know. Of course, the tools I can teach you within a day or two for you to be better at it. But then you need to avail yourself. You need to show that you are trainable and you are willing to learn. right? That goes hand in hand. So, work on yourself. If you're the kind of person who have like temper issues and, having to always, you can never fit in a team because you're always going to pick a bone with somebody. And I had one happen in one of my teams recently, and the person ended up apologizing. And guess what? He was bringing problems from home to work, and it didn't land well with him. So learn how to manage yourself, how to manage your temper, your composure, and all that comes into play. That you could be somebody who is very, very technically savvy, but then when people can work with you, you'll never fit in any organization. And my predecessor I had was really, really smart. When I got to the job, the things that he has left now, he has created, I'm like, wow, this guy is really smart. But guess what? After 13 or so years, they had to let him go because they couldn't deal with it anymore. Right. So soft skills is very crucial. It plays a good role in fitting in any team. So that's a little bit I can contribute to that. Of course, there are
Thank you,
more,
Frank.
but for time's sake, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Frank. Isaac, kindly go ahead. What will be your advice to everyone when it comes to soft skills, non-technical skills, for folks trying to get into cybersecurity and for others, even if you're already in the cybersecurity space?
Yeah, doctor, that is a good one. So I think I don't know if anybody here have the same thoughts as I was growing up. So I was the kind of person who was looking for a job where I would just work with computer or whatever system. I did not want to deal with people at all. I did not want to communicate with nobody. So I mean, I had options that I could have worked in communication, labs, and all those kind of things, right? But then I think when I started knowing what to do, and this is going to be an advice to everybody. When I joined Eretmis, I was the team lead, and now I have to be the one who have to put down meetings, make sure time works for everybody. Some were doing night shifts, some were working on weekends when we have to meet, and I have to be the point of contact here. At some point, even if Frank will remember, I had to reach out to Frank. I was thinking about how to communicate nicely, professionally, so I can meet with him as a POC to go over some project that we were working on. All these things were very hard for me, right? Sometimes I will schedule meetings, they will not show up. Maybe one person, two will show up, and I wanted to bring out the military in me. And I'm like, you can't do that. You have to just take your time and work with everybody, stay professional. So I learned how to communicate well. I started being like, hey, you all know what I could have said, everybody bring money, let's put this Zoom together, let's do this together. But I said, since I'm the team lead, I'm going to take responsibility of this. Learn how to take initiative, right? You have to learn how to do it. Bring people in. Let everybody know that they're special here. There are some people who did not want to come because they feel like they will not get what we're doing. And some of them are working now. Why? Because I was able to communicate with them, build them up, motivate them, hold their hands. And I'm not saying I was the leader who was holding everybody's hand. There are people who are also holding my hands, right? And I would say now I do more talking than anybody else. I was running from talking to people, but now my job from Eretmis, when I was able to gather that confidence, that experience, those non-technical skills from Eretmis, I was able to transfer it onto my job right now. I'm able to communicate effectively with my boss. Sometimes I might be with a colleague who will be making mistake, like saying things that they don't have to say. I will smile and just bring some kind of story so we can talk, and then the other person don't feel bad about it. So I'll say you have to be that we all have it. We all have the non-technical skills, but because we are not putting it to use, or even if we are, we don't realize that this is what I'm doing already. So I will say that another advice I will say is that writing hands down. Sometimes the technical piece is good. When you go to interview, They will ask you questions, you talk the technical piece. The rest of the questions are going to be your soft skills. So you're gonna get pushbacks. How do you handle pushbacks, right? This job, pushback is one thing. You think you're done, and then they will come and be like, no, we don't want this. There's an assessment that I'm doing. The company I'm working with, they are moving some kind of data to AWS, right? And I have to assess their environment and even the AWS environment before they do any migration that is supposed to do. And now they are telling me that they cannot, we have to pause that. How do I do that? This is a big pushback. I take it to my organization and they're also like, yeah, let's hold on. But this is risk to me. So I was like, are we accepting this? And they're like, oh no, we don't have to. They have to trigger a new due diligence. You see, you have to know how to walk around it. Initially, I'll be like, what are you telling me? This is my job. And you are telling me that I should put it down. But the way you approach it calmly, those soft talks, understanding everybody will really take you far. They will love you and really work with you. So that will be the advice I'll give to everybody here.
Thank you, Isaac. And now to everybody, if you have any questions for Isaac, Ifeoma, Frank, you can kindly bring it up. If you have any contributions, you can also bring it up before we wrap it up, right? And I cannot stress on the need for non-technical when it comes to the cybersecurity space. This is one of the two, technical, non-technical. The non-technical is always going to get you. Non-technical is always going to bite you in the behind. I can tell okay, so let me give you a real world example. So for our very first Eretmis cohort, right, when they were going to interviews, as myself, Captain AJ, being from a military background, most of the soft skills and office politics is second nature, right? I mean, for us, it's a normal day, it's a normal Tuesday. So we didn't really think much of it, that, we thought everybody had it. So when people were going to interviews, they will pass their technical interview, but then they'll fail the soft skills interviews. So we quickly realized, oh no, this is not second nature to everybody. So we had to start working on the non-technical piece with them. So because for everybody from Eretmis, when they go to interviews at that stage, at that time when they didn't progress or they didn't land the job, it wasn't because of the technical skills they didn't have. It was because they messed up on the non-technical. So we realized we have to, one, give them a framework and a structure on how to even answer non-technical questions. And what are employers really looking for when it comes to non-technical, right? And that is why for our GRC workshop in internship, most reason why we don't have you do it as individuals, but you work as a group. So that is where we also building and polishing up on your non-technical. Sheila, please go ahead, and then we go to Harold and then Frank. Yes, Sheila, and yes, go ahead, Sheila.
Thank you. I just wanted to add that this goes to any student of Eretmis. This advice, I think, will benefit any student of Eretmis right now. That is not working. The knowledge that you're acquiring here, when you land your job, or maybe somebody that have recently landed your job, at some point you will feel like, maybe I don't have a lot of knowledge. I don't think I know much. I'm not sure what is going on. But later you're going to realize that even though you feel like you don't have a lot of knowledge, you are excelling so greatly in the position. Everything that you're doing is such a great job at the organization, and everybody is applauding you. One thing that you need to always remember is that you're not going to be prideful in terms of your knowledge. When you receive a praise, you will have the tendency to accept the praise and then kind of unintentionally step on your team. So when we talk about a good team player, this is where it comes in. Always try to make sure that whatever it is that you are accepting the praises for, you don't try to accept it in such a way that you make your team members look bad, especially those that were there before you came and they feel like they also know what they're doing, but you're doing an amazing job because of the knowledge that you've acquired here. When you apply a few that you have learned here, you're going to be so amazing at your job and everybody will see. But then if you're not careful, you're going to make all your team members look very bad. And when you make them look bad, believe me, people will come after you in different ways that you will not realize. So even when you are accepting your praises, try to kind of, play it around in such a way that you're pulling your team members in to make it seem like, okay, all of you did this, or some. Don't always try to, be the only person that knows everything and then make your team members look bad. That's good team player skills that I have learned along being from Eretmis. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sheila. And for anyone on here, if you've been with the Eretmis family for a while, Sheila is our grandma, and she's the official Eretmis MC and PR. So Sheila is the cybersecurity manager for state of Massachusetts. Right. So Harold, please go ahead.
The entire state. Okay, my question goes to Frank. He was asked that have you failed before and how did you handle it? This is quite a tricky question. I want to know for him how he was put on the spot and how he handled. What is his opinion? How did he handle? What was his response to such a question? Thank you.
Okay, let me give a straightforward answer. I failed that interview, actually. I felt like disappearing from my seat there. And that was the beginning of my interview time. I mean, when I started looking for jobs. Yeah. So when I was asked that
That's a
question,
tough
one of
one.
my first interviews when I started looking for jobs, I believe it was with this big company, the Hartford. And guess what? I made it through the third round of interviews, and the questions were nice. And for everybody on here, one thing I can throw out there is polish your tell me about yourself question. Always have that ready, have that handy, and be more comprehensive, right? And it should be about what you can do for the particular company you're gonna work for. I mean, you're seeking to work for, right? It shouldn't be about you, the individual. Like, let them know what you can offer. So tell me about yourself. Pretty much all the interviews I've had at the time I was looking for jobs and all that, they always come up. And sometimes that even answer questions down the line that they'll be like, oh, okay, they all said they got that answer from the way you answered it, or tell me about yourself. So back to your question. That interview, of course, I was all over the place with that answer. I don't really remember the answer because I wasn't expecting that. And that question can make you or break you because the answer you give about tell me about your time you failed, that answer you give will make them look at you like, oh, okay, so if you come to this company, if you hire you and you make that same mistake, you're gonna cost this company this much, right? So that answer you gave could make you or break you. I don't remember the exact answer that I gave, but guess what? I'm of the habit of recording my
Wow.
interviews, right?
Wow.
I'm of the habit of recording my interviews. So I did record the interview. So after the interview, I sat down, I did my research about scenarios and how to answer those questions. And one of them I can give you now is I told them there was a time I was supposed to take an internal training, and I thought I had studied enough for that um, training, and I sat for that exams, and I failed. So you have to give them, after telling them this, you have to give them what you did about that failure to rectify it, right? So I told them that um I thought I had studied enough, but then when I sat for the interview and I failed it, but after the results came, I realized, that I need to do more work. So I went back to my books and I studied well, and I passed the next. I mean, I sat for it again. I talked to my manager and I apologized, and I sat the exams again, and I passed the next time. So something like this is an internal training or exams, right? Right. It's not crucial to, kind of bring your company down to its needs. I mean, its needs or anything of that sort. So if you give an answer like this, you should be good to go. So
This one, thank you very, very much. This one, I would like to refer to the headquarters, Dr. Edu, to perhaps provide an answer for this question, how you can handle this. Number two, Doc, with us in the oven being prepared for the market right now, some of us, we are rusty when it comes to interviews and stuff. I've been failing them left, right, center. When do we start applying for jobs for us in this cohort? When do we start applying for jobs? And how do we handle the CV as well? I'll be gracious to have your opinions of this. And especially answer that crucial question for us.
Okay, so that will be at the tail end of your program. Once you've done with all the projects. Yes.
Before you answer, before you answer, can I encourage him a bit on that?
Kindly hold on.
I have filled a few. Okay.
So I was telling him for when to apply and when to work on your resume. That will be at the tail end of their program. So when we get there, you are going to know, Harold. But go ahead, Andy. Before I let Isaac come in. Go ahead, Andy.
Okay, Harold, what I wanted to tell you is what you are calling failures, I see it as a learning curve for me. I have been to so many interviews that initially I thought I knew and I had what it takes to do the interviews. But anytime I go and I get a rejection, I realize what I am short on and I come back to study and it helps me on my next interview. Even though I might not go forward with that, I still will gather more. And I know by the time I get to the next one, I will be okay. I was sharing with my cohort the other time that I was in an interview. I took it literally. It was a TPRM position, and I took it literally. I didn't think enough to learn about such a thing as Mike. What were we talking about yesterday, Mike? Mike and him.
We're talking about.
There was a topic in TPRM. It was
Can you hear me?
2.
Yeah, SOC 2, yeah.
SOC 2. Yeah, it's very simple. Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, it's very simple, but because I thought I had known everything and I didn't take a time to review that, and if I had just taken a minute to review that before that interview, I would have been okay. So don't take it as a failure. However, it's a learning curve, and you build upon it.
Absolutely.
Dr. Ndu, we appreciate all that you do, and we don't want to make it seem like you're waiting. If we keep telling you that we are failing, it will discourage you. You feel that you're not doing much, but you're doing a lot.
Doc is a strong man.
No,
he has a lot of stamina.
Yeah, I have a lot of people inside, and Michael, yourself, and a few others. I have you inside, so I think I almost had them reach out to Michael because I've not heard from him for a while, right? But I mean, what I also encourage you to do is, I mean, when you do one or two and it's not going the way you're supposed to, reach out, right? I mean, I don't know why Michael is not even reaching out anymore, but I'm never going to get tired of you. So if that is, or maybe you think that, like there was a student who was like, "There, Dr. Edu, I'm even ashamed. I've done a couple of interviews." I mean, reach out for help. Right? Reach out for help. Nothing beats that, because you cannot be doing this by yourself over and over, but the help is there for you, right? I mean, you are eventually going to make it. If Yoma did a couple of interviews, if Yoma was still reaching out, Frank, I think Frank, Frank almost a year. Do you know how many interviews?
Almost 2 years.
I've done with. Yeah, but he eventually he made it. Like there was an interview that Frank literally went to the interview soon as he done, and he gave me we prepped. But when he was done and he came back and he told me, Dr. Edu, they said this, I said that, and they didn't even know this. I'm Frank, you're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get this job. You know why? Because you showed too much. Frank was literally teaching them so the difference between SOC 1, SOC 2, SOC 3. It's not like it was a trick question. They really didn't know. And these were two directors of cybersecurity. He was literally schooling them on their job. And you think these people are going to hire you for you to come and fire them?
Nah, they felt threatened. So yeah, I realized
No,
that.
they're not going to hire you for you to come and take their spot. You think they're stupid? No. Like I've been on like hiring boards where there was a company that I was consulting for, and they wanted to hire a director for IT, right? So CTO interviewed the new incoming director for IT, like the candidates, and then the IT specialist also interviewed them. Now, guess what? It came down to the word of the IT specialist, so everybody, maybe two people came head to head. Then IT specialist vote was what is going to determine who gets the job. Guess what? Out of the two, the one who was very knowledgeable and could do the job, IT specialist didn't choose that person, but chose the other person. You know why? Because she said, no, this guy knew too much. He will make my job too difficult for me. I want somebody that I can, who is going to depend on me, right? So I will maintain my job. I don't want somebody who knows way too much than me, and he's going to be my boss too. So now I'm going to be in trouble. So I'm not going to hire somebody to come and eat me up. I want somebody who is going to need me, right? So all these dynamics are playing in there. So if you are going to interviews, reach out. For anybody who's been through Eretmis, if you're interviewing, and you're like, I'm always about to give up, and if you are not reaching out, you are wrong, right? So yes, do it within your groups, your teams, push, but then always reach out because the help, and we are never going to get tired of you. The Eretmis, we are family. So that is why no school, no platform, nobody advertising or whatever they're advertising on Facebook for wherever for cybersecurity school and whatnot. Nobody has a platform like this because they are pulling fast ones on people. And they are telling you there's a magic wand. If you come, there's this magic trick we will do. At Eretmis, there is no magic. The magic is hard work. You put in the time, you put in the work. That is why Ifeoma, Frank, everybody is excelling. It took Frank almost 2 years to get a job. Now Frank is doing 2 jobs, making 200 plus. I can say that because I can mention Frank's number, not the exact number, but and Frank can even do 3 jobs if
Frank
he wants to
pay. Frank should come and pay tithes.
Yes, if he has the capacity, right? But look at how long it took him. Somebody would have given up, right? Like, what do you get for giving up? Nothing. But you have all to gain if you don't give up, right? Your life is still going to go on. Tomorrow is going to come. Next month, the 2007 is going to 2027 is going to come. Whether you give up or you don't give up, whoever don't give up is going to win. Winners are, quitters are never going to win. Your job is going to come to you. Sheila did one interview, got a job. Not everybody will do one interview and get a job and will get a job, right? So keep pushing. What else do you have to lose? You still have your life. You are living, you are working, you are doing whatnot. Keep this as also your second job. Apply to jobs as your second job. This is your full-time second job. Treat it as such, and it's going to pay off. Now, the moment you get that offer letter, everything is going to change, right? So keep pushing. So Andy, Mike, and everybody else, you can always reach out. There is, we're never going to get tired of you. Always reach out because until you get a job, our mission is not done, right? And even when you get a job, we have Michael, Yaboa, and all these grandpas and, grandmoms in Eretmis. They all went through it, right? But now they can advise you, they can show you the way because they've actually, they've paid their dues. Right. So anybody promising magic elsewhere and you get a job in 45 days forget them. If somebody is going to do an interview for you and you're going to get a job and then you're going to do what? Get fired in 2 months and then come back to zero. No, you have to be able to. If you don't need help on the job, Sheila don't need help on the job, Frank don't need help on the job. Actually, when Isaac calls every time is about office politics. Hey, so what do you think this move is going to be? It's like the chess game, right? It's not about Dr. Edu, we are doing risk assessment and I'm struggling. None of that. because they took time, they built themselves. So what we put you through here is no joke. It is setting you up for life in the cybersecurity space, right? So Isaac, I'll let you go, and then Justin and Lucy.
Okay, Doc. So the question that was asked, my interview, I was asked the same thing, right? A time you failed, tell me about a time you failed and what did you do about it? I was asked the same question, and I answered in a way by using some of the things we did with Eretmis during our time. So I just started by saying that in the early stages of my career, I was supposed to do a presentation, which I had everything put together. I went up there, so you pick something low risk, something that is not going to impact the organization, right? So I was able to talk through it, like the organization have their own colors, where they want you to build their PowerPoint and all that. But when I showed up there and I showed what I have on there, at the end of the day, it looks like everybody was not giving me the feedback that I was expecting, right? The criticism. So this, I took it as a lesson learned, even though it was a failure to me, but I took it as a lesson learned. And then ever since then, I was able to do the right thing. So he was like, oh, okay, good. And recently he met me, right? He came to our Charlotte office and met me. He was like, hey, how you doing? I was like, he said, you were the only person that answered one of my questions correctly, the way I wanted it. And I was like, what was that? And then he brought it up that the first point, when I said in the early stages of my career, this means I've grown. So if I would have said that something current, that means that I keep making mistakes. So one, he was like, when you said in the early stages, and also when he noticed that it wasn't any bigger risk and I took it as a lesson learned, that is one thing he did like about me. So I just wanted to put it out here. It can be so many scenarios, but that is how I answered it. So I think anybody can rephrase it anyhow they want. Looking at if you work or you are with Eretmis, there's so many things you will see that you can rephrase it to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ike. Justin, please go ahead.
So, Doc, my question is, if we get an interview, which contact do we have to reach up to, and then how long is it going to take for you to get back to us?
Oh, just go to the website and schedule an appointment.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's that easy.
Okay.
Right. Yes. Lucy, please go ahead.
Hello. Good evening. Yeah. It's about. It's kind of like almost the same question as the last person. I have an interview for Tuesday, and I set up an appointment with you for Monday. I didn't know I had an interview. I just realized today. But the last time I set up an appointment, you didn't show up. So I was just wondering if you could show up this time around.
Did you pay and did when was your appointment? Because mostly Delphine will even reach out to you before the appointment.
Yeah. I called her and she said you were busy.
Okay, so did you reschedule? Because I mean, if
Yeah.
something came up, you can easily reschedule.
Yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, but I rescheduled for Monday.
Yeah, so if it was Tuesday and you really needed it, but you can reschedule for the next day, or right. So for me showing up, if you make the appointment, it's your duty to make the appointment. 95% of the time, we are going to meet for the appointment. Right.
Okay.
All right. So any other questions for the group? And going back to the question of mistakes that you made, and tell me about a failure. So that is a trick question, right? There's a trick question that is also an opportunity for you to shine, or an opportunity for you to shoot yourself all over in the foot, right? So either or, an opportunity to, make yourself look like a moron, or an opportunity to make yourself look like a superstar. So is one of these two you have to pick, right? Now, if you don't prepare for this question, it's going to throw you off. And any answer you're going to give is nonsense. the only way you can give a good answer is if you're prepared for a similar question or you have something you've encountered that before, right? Because they want to see that, yes, you are human, you make mistakes. At the same time, when you make mistakes, how do you correct those mistakes, right? And how do you learn from it and get better? That is simply what they are looking for, right? So if you come back and you say, well, I've never made any mistake on the job, then they know you are BSing. You are not honest. So they're not even going to waste their time on you, right? But if you come back and you are like, oh, yeah, I made this type of mistake. And the mistake also, like Isaac said, it has to be low risk. So you don't say, well, there was this one time I scanned our company's network and the whole entire network, went offline. Like I collapsed the whole entire network. And they'll be like, wow, okay, that's interesting. And what did you do about it? Oh, it took my company 3 days to get it back up. But, I really learned from that lesson. And from that moment, I never took such steps. Really? They don't want you in this company for sure. Right. So it has to be low risk. Something like, what Frank was saying, oh, there was a training or, a certification I will have to take. And that is something that is not going to impact the organizational, functions. So, or the Isaac's portion, that was a presentation, my colors were off. I missed maybe one slide or two. Yeah, that is really not going to impact, the organization that much. But then it's a good failure. Everybody can relate to that. And you learn from that. So moving forward, you are probably going to ask the requirements for the presentation, the format, and how they want it before, right? You learn and you grow. And like Isaac also said, because he referenced and said, during my early days, right, when I have just started working, this was a mistake I did. Then they will see that you've grown. So this question is a trick question, an opportunity for you to either shine or to just shoot yourself in the foot, right? So you always have to go for low risk, something, and then, lessons you learn from it, how you improved over the years. And that is going to make you look good, because that is really for the trick to soft skills questions is this. Every question they ask you, there is a goal behind it. They want something. There is something they are looking for. So if they ask you, for example, tell me about yourself, it's a soft skills question. They don't want to know about your pet, your marital status, your kids, where you went to college. They don't care, right? They are not there to make friends with you. They are there to assess you based on what you can do for their company to grow. So if they say, tell me about yourself, they want to know what you have done in relation to what they are looking for. Simple. So if you go about, you think it's a friendly conversation, you start talking about your dogs, your pets, your hobbies, they will be nodding and smiling and say, yeah, I also have a dog. But to them, you are just scoring 0 on their scoring sheet all along, right? And when you finish, you wouldn't know why they didn't move you forward. You think, oh, this lady was very friendly. We had a very cordial, yeah, but you're talking nonsense the whole time, right? So soft skills questions, very tricky. So that is why for Eretmis students, we actually take time and take you through this, right? We do sessions on this. And even for those who enroll through the entry level, there is a job placement session, a full job placement course where we walk you through how to answer questions like that nature. How do you handle conflicts, right? The different types of conflict handling, team formation stages. At each stage, what type of conflicts are you, prone to have? How would you approach it, right? All those are things that you have to actually learn. So for soft skills, it's not just what you think or how you feel about it. There is really science behind soft skills, right? So like leadership, management, there are concepts and theories behind it. That is what we actually implement in organizations. So if you are not really, up to speed on that areas, look into it. And when you attend cyber chats, other previous cyber chats that we've had about how to answer soft skills questions, you can go to YouTube and watch all those videos. It has very great content that we do all for free and we post it out there. So on that note, if there are no questions for the group, we are going to be wrapping up for tonight, because I think we are 18 minutes over. Please go ahead if you have any last words.
Yeah, last words. I think I was just going through the chat. Jonathan Kwati had a question. Like, my question goes to all of them. How do you handle work-related pressure, especially when targets are not met or fixes not done on timely or timely? And I think if we have time, I can just run through it quick for him.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so Joe, so for me, I would say that first thing is I don't panic when something is behind schedule, right? This space you are going to have deadlines, open findings, right? You have remediation items that you have to work on. And sometimes stakeholders there are some of them who don't even respond to you quickly as you need, right? So I try to understand what is going on, why the target wasn't met. Is there any resource issue and all those kind of things? So I prioritize based on the risk and the impact. If it is a high finding or something that could significantly affect or expose the organization, then I'm going to give that more attention than any low risk item. Then also, like we did talk. You bring in the soft skills. You have to communicate early. You don't wait till the deadline passes, so you can work together as a team. So for me, I mean, handle pressure. It comes down to just staying calm. You prioritize the risk, communicating early, documenting what's happening, escalating properly when necessary. Because I remember I did talk to my boss. I was like, one of the things that can impact you, your end of year evaluation is when you don't meet, your target or deadlines. And they were like, if something like that, you need to communicate with your manager. It could be like any of the reasons that I did mention. So that is how I handle that.
Well, thank you, Isaac.
You're
And
welcome.
any other questions in the chat that I missed? Not sure. All right,
Sorry.
everybody.
Sorry, hello, Prof.
Yeah.
Sorry. Last
Yes, go ahead.
week recording, did you send it out?
No, that is not out yet. Last week's recording is not on YouTube yet.
Okay. Thank you. Just to be sure. Thank you.
Yes. All right, everyone. Appreciate everybody's time. We went a little bit over just like last week because if the conversation gets interesting, then it takes us a little bit longer. So appreciate everybody's time. We are here to learn and grow. We are family here, so no questions are off the table. You can ask all your questions, and we encourage you to join us every Friday night. And if you are joining us for the first time, welcome to the Eretmis family. We do this every Friday night, and we are here to learn and grow, right? So we talk about different topics, and at least, even if you have been working in cybersecurity for 300 years, you are going to learn something new, right? Unless, of course, you know everything, which, I mean, obviously is not realistic, because I have learned a lot. I work in cybersecurity. I run a cybersecurity company. I'm always learning, and I learn from everybody, right? So for tonight, appreciate Ifeoma, Frank, Isaac, and our other contributors, Sheila, Bedimai, and everybody else, who made this an exciting discussion. Andrew, Harold, and everybody else putting your questions in the chat. And for everybody for listening in and for learning. We are going to meet same time next week. And stay safe and have a wonderful rest of the weekend and enjoy your summer. Summer is almost over. So have a wonderful rest of the weekend. And I appreciate our panel members, Ifeoma, Frank, Ike. I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. And it's always a pleasure having you